All right, family, what's the vibes? How you guys doing? Welcome to another review. Yeah, I said I was going to be giving you guys review every single day based on the things happening, right? And it's to put you on par with how things are moving because we're in very, very, very treacherous times. And like I said yesterday, the best thing to do is to really, really think about protection at this moment, right? This is not when you want to go and be pressing buttons back and forth, even though, there can be opportunities based on volatility spikes and all of that. But right now, there's so much uncertainty in the air that we do not know what is happening. And you can see the markets reacting. Look at Monday after that run up. All we have done since Monday on a pair like GU has been consolidating. If we go back to gold, also, we saw a consolidation all through today until, maybe later today before we started to go. We started to push down lower a little bit, right? So you see consolidation all through today, and even the push lower, nothing really crazy to the downside. It's still really hanging around there, right? So I'm going to talk about some of my thoughts, but I want to first bring you down to the fundamental ideas that are happening right now, right? So if we think about it, we we talked about the false news, and Iran has confirmed that that was false. But there's something I was looking at today that I want to share with you. So it looks like there's been some kind of negotiations, coming out, even though, as you'd see, right, nothing full again, right? It's still uncertainties here, but the US dropped a 15-point note, right, on what they would want for the war to get to an end. So what is the 15-point US plan? And this is what the US wants, all right? 30-day ceasefire, the dismantling of Iran's nuclear facilities in Natanz, Isfahan forward, a permanent commitment from Iran to never develop nuclear weapons. These are very, very big plans or big requests the US is asking Iran. The handover of Iran's stockpile enrich uranium. They've been fighting for this for years right now. Limits on the range of numbers of Iran's missiles, ending Iran's support for regional proxies, ending Iranian strikes on regional energy facilities, reopening the Strait of Hormuz. This is the big guy, as you guys know, right? This is the oil thing, right? A removal of all sanctions imposed on Iran, alongside the ending of the UN mechanisms that allow sanctions to be reimposed, the provision of US support for electricity generation at Iran's Bushehr Civil's nuclear plant. Now, as you can see, this is a whole lot. It's like the US is actually bullying Iran, if Iran can give off this request, at once. But let's actually go and see what did the Iranians, how did they react? How did they talk about this? First, they said the Iranians leaders have maintained that there has been no negotiations. Like I said yesterday, nothing has really happened. And look, you'll see here, there's been no negotiations taking place between Washington and Tehran at all. Iran's military leadership says it cannot negotiate with the US, which has attacked Iran twice during ongoing negotiations. So they've had these negotiations a couple months back, and while the negotiations were going on, missiles dropped in Iran. Look at what it says. It says, has the level of your inner struggle reached the stage of you, Trump, negotiating with yourself? As in, have you started to now talk to yourself and think you're talking to us? This is what Hel Brahim Zulfakri, I can't pronounce this a lot, right? The top spokesman for Iran's Joint Military Command said on Wednesday on Iranian state TV, mocking the US. He said, people like us can never get along with people like you. As we have always said, no one like us will make a deal with you. Not now, not ever. But following this, right, Iran still, said something that they would want, right? They still said something that they want. And I think, let me see, I hope I have not. Okay, so yeah, Iran still said, some of the things that they would want if the war is going to go over. So what are Iran's demands for the war to end? We can see some of these things here, right? To the only way to end this war, ignited by the Zionists, that's Israel regime, and the US, is recognizing Iran's legitimate rights, payments for reparations, and firm in guarantees for future aggression. It is understood that Iran would also want all sanctions against it to be lifted, right? Additionally, Iran's own state press TV quoted an Iranian official as saying over the weekend that Tehran was seeking closure of all U.S. military base. So they want all of the military bases are in Iran to be closed. A new legal mechanism to control transit through the Strait of Hormuz. So they want control of the Strait of Hormuz, right? That formalizes it as the de facto dominance over the waterway. They want to have, this is a great power move here from Iran. They want to be in control, right, and actually make the rules for the biggest, oil pathway of the world, right? And again, what are we seeing here? Why did I have to read all of this? I know you guys, this is boring story, but it's important because these are the things that really, really drive the market. Now, this is obviously showing uncertainty. This guy is saying he wants all of these things. This guy is saying he wants all of these things. So we're at a point where at least, even though they've not sat down to talk, this person is demanding, that person is demanding. And that's when negotiation starts. I say everything I want, you say everything you want. Then I ask, can you drop some of those things that you want while I'm going to drop some of the things I want? And if those things can go on, we can start to see, de-escalation, come into play. How does this affect the market? How does this affect the market? Now let's go back to price. Right. So one of the things we want to check, as you can see, the Strait of Hormuz, which is causing the strain on the supply of oil, causing for the demand, which means oil runs higher, right? If we start to get resolution of the war, we will start to see that fall lower, right? We'll start to see oil start to go lower, right? And if oil starts to go lower, that means that we are getting into a cool inflation environment. That cool inflation environment gives us the story that the Feds can start to think about cutting rates anymore again. Right. And we can start to just see this the escalation of these things. We can probably start to see gold rise and all of that, but not too fast. What I want you to see is until that happens, we're still in this space that we are. Now, I don't think that oil can all the way start to just expand and just keep going higher. It can, there's nothing that can happen. But I really think that even if the war ends tomorrow, right, there's been a whole lot of infrastructures that have been, destroyed. And those things we need to fix, which would still cause strain on demand or strain of supply of oil. So oil might still, hang around here for a little bit, and until it starts to go below, 70 barrel. It was 65 barrel before all of this news started, right? It was somewhere around here. So until we start to get down here, we're still inside of that same idea. The DXY is still seeing a bid here, still catching a bid. We're seeing the dollar rise higher. And from technical perspective and also what is happening, everything still looks good with DXY. Like I said yesterday, until we start to take out this low here, right? Until we start to take out this low here, I'm still bullish the dollar. The dollar is still bullish. And I think long term also, I'm still bullish the dollar, right? This would mean that I am still looking for shorts on GU, right? Like I said, if we don't take out that high on GU, we still have downside potential. Now, it has been ranging, but like I said, ranging is the uncertainty, but where the directional bias, if there's going to be a direction that I will be looking at, is sell side, right? And technically, we could probably see something here. We have breaking market structure coming in this morning, price rallies into up close candle here, bearish OB, and that's a good sell there, right? So again, only this low would have been something to aim at, right? This low is still hanging in here, consolidating, right? Consolidating, leaning lower. Basically, this is what we have here, right? For GU, right? So, and today I wasn't taking a trade because, again, I was very, very, cautious about the uncertainties happening, right? I would have loved to sell gold today, right? But again, look at how things were just running up and down. And some of the guys on the Discord were again talking about all of that. Again, the Discord channel is free. I'll drop a link in the description. The inner circle is going to be opening April 1st. That's next week. And all of the conversations, all of the energy on the team chat on the Discord would start to move into the inner circle. All right. So if you're going to join the inner circle, if you want to make money with us, if you want to understand price the right way, not just gibberish, right? Then there's a link in there that you need to text and you get paid. There's a discount going on right now. I think 70K for a month and 200K for 3 months, right? 205K, I guess, for 3 months. But go through and check, make your findings. Again, reach out to the admin if you want to pay instrumentally or something. They should have something for you, but just reach out to them and see how that goes. All right, guys, back to the lesson. We have gold here. I think gold can still return back lower. I think that's what I'll be looking for going into tomorrow. I'll be looking for some sales to come in, right? But nothing crazy, nothing expansive in terms of leverage. I would just be playing it cool. And if we see a run back to buy side, trust me, I'll just really just watch and wait for good price action to come in. Right. So there's that. What other thing? What other thing? I think I like EU for sales better. I think I like EU for sales. Let's go into daily time frame. You see, EU is much more cleaner for sales here. As you can see, we returned all the way back inside of here, right? And we're seeing that fall off coming. Yesterday was actually a bearish or played a bearish candle for EU. As you can see, rallies all the way up and just falls down, takes out sell side liquidity. That's at least that's way cleaner than GU. Let's look at it on the 15-minute time frame. So, runs lower, returns back into that breaker, returns back, tries to rally, breaks market structure, mitigation block here, mitigation block here. All right. So returns back into there and, just falls. So again, I'm still leaning here, but just very cautious. Again, very, very, very cautious. Let's look at things like, BTC. What is Bitcoin doing? Daily time frame. This is looking like it's catching, a rally. Right, we've seen price bounce of that OB, but nothing really crazy. As you can see, the market is really just, uncertain, right? What is really happening, right? Where do I put my money? There's no clear direction in terms of fundamental analysis, and the charts or technicals are just reacting the same. They are just there waiting for something, big to happen. Let's actually look at what comes in terms of let's look at what comes in terms of the news release tomorrow. Let's see if there's anything that we can play alongside, something that just gives us a little bit more direction in terms of price. So we have President Trump speaks tomorrow. So this is interesting, right? We have Trump speaking tomorrow, 12:20, right? Whatever he says, as can just boom the market. So make sure that you are not, having a position that is threatening. You are protected properly, right, while that happens, because it's going to say something and that's going to happen. Another thing that's important is we're going to have unemployment claims. We're expecting 211K, and that is we're expecting strong jobs market again for the dollar. And let's see if we get more or better jobs, but a better claim in terms of the jobs market, and let's see how that would funnel through. If that happens, we would see continuous bid on the dollar buy side, and we would see the foreign currencies fall off. So watch out for unemployment claims 130 tomorrow. I will be waiting until New York session before looking to do something. Again, I'm starved of a trade, but that's the idea of a trader. You need to sit on your hands until you see the exact opportunity that fits your system, and then you can engage it. All right, that would be all for now. Again, make sure you get the discounts for the inner circle by April 1st. The discounts are going to be out, and you're going to pay the actual fee. $55 is what it is for the 1 month, and I think $140 for 3 months. All right, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Bless up.